Hey guys, Creator Mom. So it's day 4 on the bereavement of my dear guinea pig Brownie. And I think that almost like the phase I'm going through now is the phase of um seeing God in it all. Seeing God in everything. Um excuse me, kind of like reflecting. I'm kind of like in a more reflective mode. And yeah, just seeing God, or God is showing me himself in the situation. And I feel like with death, and losing a beloved pet or whatever, um, it's kind of like transitioning from intense self-blame and guilt. And then I had been watching some videos on that too to try to help myself to cope with those feelings and ideas. And now I'm more into, just kind of like asking God to comfort me. And now I was doing a restorative yoga for guilt, letting go of guilt. And I felt that God was showing me some things. He was reflecting to me about how he was a part of it the whole time. Like, I think it's hard to think about God when it comes to death, because we think about God when it comes to good things and life and love and things like that, and not like death. But I don't like, God is in death too. Like, it's all in him. Everything is in him. Death is a part of him too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how could it not be? Like, we die, you know what I'm saying? Like, we die physically. Um so it ain't separate from him. Like, he knows what's up, and God knows what is coming, and God is in you. You are God, you're one with God, but then you also have this other part that is a bit like in the dark. Your human part, it's like my human part is in the dark about things. But a lot of times my human part thinks that I am doing things out of my own will and volition. Like, you know, I'm moving about in the world because I am thinking of things and then doing them, and therefore I'm in control. But actually, you don't realize when the unction is actually coming from God, which is called inspired action, but you don't know, you're in the dark. When it's inspired action, you don't know it's inspired action. That's what makes it inspired. You don't know. You think you know. You think you're doing this action because of this result. But then when you get into the future and you go into retrospect, you say, oh, I thought I was doing it for this reason, which I was. In my human brain, I was doing this action for this reason. But actually, God does multiple things at once, and one thing will have multiple reasons. Your human reasoning will think it's for one thing, but your God reasoning knows, and you'll only know the God reasoning in retrospect, because it's not disclosed to you, because you need to trust, because you trust. It's disclosed to you after the fact, many, many times, except maybe like for prophecy or whatever. But anyways, then you look back, you're like, oh, that's why I was led to do that thing. Like, that's probably 90% of the reason why I was led to take that action, was for that other result that wasn't disclosed to me. Had it been disclosed to me, I would have rejected it. It would have been too painful. It would have been like, no, God, no, 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 no. Like, we wouldn't want that. It's kind of undesirable in a way. I mean, not all the time. I'm talking to my personal experience with Brownie, because what happened was, I live near this food pantry, and I thought, I've lived here for over a year and a half, but I never wanted to go to the food pantry. But I thought, let me visit the food pantry and, see if that would be helpful to me. And it has been. Like, that's the human part, right? The human says, oh, let me visit this resource and see if I can get some food and helpful items, right? For the human reasonings and things. Like, but when I went to that pantry, I found a resource, a nonprofit that helps people in emergency situations with their pets. And I took a thing off the bulletin because I thought, well, I'll just keep it handy just in case I may need food with help. Need help with food for my pets one day, or something. It's just good to know, or somebody else might need to know. It's good to know about these things. So I took one, and then I think it was just in this order, and then I think that day, or maybe the next day, or I don't know, I found the lump on my guinea pig. And I was like, oh shoot. I had picked her up and I felt it. I was like, oh, this ain't normal. Um, so that's how the journey began. And now when I was doing my yoga, I was like, oh my God, could it be possible that the 90% of the reason why I went to that food pantry was to be connected with those people? Because all of these series of events would take place, and I would need their assistance with like going to the vet and all this stuff. Um, you know, that God knew, that part of me knew, my divine self, Christ in me knew that my guinea pig was going to, that this was all going to be going down. And he was preparing me, you know, um, like a good father does. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but see, he can't, like, not everything is disclosed to us. Like, we can't handle everything about our life and that's going to happen in our life being disclosed. Like, it would just be too much. We have to trust and be led every day, and trust that we are being cared for, we are being provided for, and to think about that God knew about that death, or like that it would be like, no, why God, like, why, if you knew about this, then why didn't you make her live? Like, why couldn't it be different? Why wasn't it different? And I'm not saying I'm gonna blame God or anything like that, but it could be like, well, why, why I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I was watching this other pet psychic video that was talking about how pets kind of choose when they're gonna go. I don't know. I'm trying to not attach too much, get too deep into it, but I was just being reflectively thinking, like, wow, could it be possible I even went to that food pantry just to be connected with that resource, because all this stuff was gonna unfold. It's the great unfolding. Life, and our journey is the great unfolding, the great blossoming, you know. And loss and grief, unfortunately, is a part of that unfolding.